Hello, everyone. I'm Rita Cosby, host of MSNBC's hit show, Rita Cosby Live and Direct. I have just returned from Times Square, where Peter Nygard was live and direct with 500,000 of his closest friends who watched New York's famous Crystal Ball count down the debut of both 2006 and the debut of Peter Nygard's new strategic headquarters, located right in the heart of the Big Apple. It was the biggest celebration ever. Peter Nygard, the man behind a multi-million-dollar fashion empire, is expanding his U.S. operations big time. And he celebrated the opening of his Nygard World Headquarters in Times Square this New Year's Eve, and celebrated in style, which he knows quite a lot about. Of course, anyone who's ever come to New York City has absolutely got to go to Times Square. And on New Year's, it is the place to be and to be seen. The world takes a breath to marvel at its accomplishments and readies itself to take on the challenges yet to be. Times Square is an experience your heart will never forget. It reminds me a lot of Peter Nygard, the man himself. Interestingly, in 1904, the publisher of the New York Times constructed the Times Tower on 43rd Street, just off of Broadway. On April 8, 1904, the publisher convinced then New York Mayor George McClellan Jr. to rename Longacre Square to Times Square. And in just 3 weeks, the very first advertisement appeared on the side of a bank at the corner of 46th and Broad. The significance of all of this, of course, is that Nygard International's own billboards debuted almost 102 years later in the same square and on the very same location. History repeats itself. Peter has been on the cutting edge of every fashion design and fashion trend for decades, so the placement of his Times Square ads only seem fitting. Today, it's estimated that 80% of all visitors to New York City come to Times Square, or get this, approximately 31 million people per year. America's cultural hub, full of wondrous theaters, dynamic music halls, and also marquee hotels, now has another diamond that it can brag about, as Nygard International continues its amazing legacy by becoming an extraordinary player in a great and powerful story. A tremendous supporter of our men and women overseas, and a great visionary of the fashion world. We'll be watching for more from Peter Nygard and his new world headquarters, where fashion meets technology, and now it meets Broadway. By the way, you can learn more about Nygard and also the Peter Nygard Signature Collection by checking out their website at nygard.com, watching what I wear on the air, or taking a stroll through any major department store, or even better yet, you can't miss him in big old Times Square. He is now part of the great history of this great city.